Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our men's advanced Bible study on Tuesday, the 5th of October, 2021. And what we'll be doing later on is dealing with the book of Micaiah. And I'm asking everybody to like and share and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button. And for those who don't know, this is a non-Masonic channel. We deal with the Tanakh, which is the Old Testament, and the Torah, which is the 45 books of the Old Testament that was given to the Lord of Hosts was given to Moses by the Lord of Hosts. Shalom and welcome everybody. We're going to do our moment of silence and our prayers and psalms, and then do a little current events, and then go into the lesson. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servant David and Solomon and Samuel and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad, for you possess the power to turn us, O Lord. For we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments and your testimony and your statutes, thou our heart and soul, to perform the words of this covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea, hear and do, O Lord, and hide not thy face from us, for we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay. With that being said, we're going to read the Psalms. Okay.
All right. Let's try. Let's go with Psalms 8.
Okay. Okay.
This. Yeah. All right. Psalms 8. To the chief musician, Gittith, a psalm of David. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth, who has set thy glory above the heavens. Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings hast thou ordained strength because of thine enemies, that thou mightest still the enemy and the avenger. When I consider thy heavens, the works of thy fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him, and the son of man that thou visiteth him? But thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, yea, and the beasts of the field, the fowl of the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passeth through the path of the seas. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I use that because that's one of the scriptures they would use to indoctrinate us on JC, right? With Hebrews.
Exactly.
They will always present that back to Hebrews, I think it's chapter 2, I think it's 2 or 3.
Okay.
Hebrews, how they said, what is it? I think it's Hebrews. Right. Hebrews 2. I'll start at 5. Hebrews 2 and 5. For unto the angels hath he not put in subjection the world to come, whereof we speak. Actually, I'll go up to 4 then. Right? I'll go up
Okay.
to 4. God also bearing them witness both with signs and wonders, and with diverse miracles and gifts of the Holy Ghost, according to his own will. For unto the angels hath he not put in subjection the world to come, whereof we speak. But one in a certain place testified, saying, What is man, that thou art mindful of him? Or the Son of Man, that thou visiteth him? Thou hast made him a little lower than the angels. Thou crownest him with glory and honor, and didst set him over the works of thy hands. 8, thou hast put all things in subjection under his feet, for in that he put all in subjection under him, he left nothing that is not put under him. But now we see not yet all things put under him, but we see Jesus, who was made a little lower than the angels for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of God should taste death for every man. Wow.
Okay. So
Wow.
you got a breakdown for that.
Me, I'm gonna take with the glory and honor. I'm gonna put that with uh Isaiah 62.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to Isaiah 62 and I'll start at 1.
Okay.
Hold on, Mike, before you go further. I just want to ask a quick question. Did
Okay.
that
Yes, sir.
say, because I wasn't following along in the text in Hebrews, uh, did that say that Jesus was made lower than the angels?
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
right.
my goodness. Okay. I got more questions later. Okay. I just want to make sure I heard that correct.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Man, Genesis 18 don't eat that up, man.
Say that again.
Genesis 18 don't eat that up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
All right. So I'm gonna go to Isaiah 62, right, and start at 1. So it says, "For Zion's sake, I will not hold my peace, and
Come
for
on.
Jerusalem's sake,
Right.
say again."
Go ahead.
All right. So this is verse 1. For Zion's sake, I will not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake, I will not rest until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all kings thy glory, and thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord shall name. Thou shalt also be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, and a royal diadem in the hand of God. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, neither shall thy land any more be termed desolate, but thou shalt be called Hespha Zibah, and thy land Beulah, for the Lord delighteth in thee, and thy land shall be married. For as a young man marrieth a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoiceth over the bride, and shall thy God rejoice over thee. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold thy peace day nor night. Yet that make mention of the Lord keep not silence. So I'm putting what is really said here for the children of Israel, not a man specifically called JC, which they try to have you believe in the book of Hebrews, because he's
Right.
telling us the Lord and the royal, thou shalt also be crowned with glory in the hand of the Lord, a royal diadem in the hand of thy God. So,
Right.
and people are going to see us. and the righteousness for Jerusalem. So for Zion's sake, I will not hide my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake, I will not rest until the righteousness thereof go forth as a brightness. So I don't really see how they considered what he was talking about, crowning them with glory, being for this one person in the New Testament.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So what you got, Mike? I mean, Andre.
Well, you know, I'm kind of stumped right here, with that verse saying that the Christ of the New Testament was made less
Little
than the
lower.
angels. You little lower than the angels. Wait,
Right.
hold
Right.
on now. I'm been told that JC was greater than Mike, and
Right. He was created above angel.
right.
Right.
He the one who threw down Lucifer.
Right.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
if he less than the angels, hey, he got a lot of power being less than a little lower than the angels now.
Right. Right. He got a lot to make up.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm kind of stumped. I'm dumbfounded right here.
Right. Yeah.
Being
So
made.
ain't there some?
Mm,
Right.
Man, these people don't know what they worship.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. And we never really pay no attention to none of this stuff, but it's nuts, man. So when you look at verse 4, it says, "You got something, Lamar?"
Uh, well,
verse 4 there.
that's a little lower than the angels. I mean, when you read Genesis 18, man, they got down when they saw the angels. They had to
Right.
bow
Right.
down,
Right.
and it just don't match up.
Right. And they saying that
Uh-huh.
that's Jesus in Genesis 18.
Wow,
Yeah, ain't that something? Right.
that's something.
Right. So I'm in Psalms 8 verse 4. It says,
Sounds
and saying, "What is man that thou art mindful of him, and the son of man?" Right. So this is where the trick come in at. They want to say they calling you, they calling JC. They want you to think JC the son of man, right?
right.
So don't all through the book of Enoch he keep calling Enoch son of man.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now go
You
to
know.
Ezekiel chapter. Let's show you something. It says Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 1. You see it?
Yep.
He says, and he said unto me, son of man. See that? Back there I told you about those Hebrew idioms. That's all it is. He's Ezekiel is and Enoch, they sons of the man he created on the 8th day. That's what that means. So he says, and he said unto me, son of man. See that? Stand up upon thy feet, and I will speak to thee. Go and then go to, I'm just giving you some examples. Go to chapter 4, verse 1. It's the Lord of hosts talking to Ezekiel again in 4 and 1. Thou also, son of man. See that? Son of man. He ain't calling him
Right.
Ezekiel. He calling him what he is, the son of man. Son of the man he made, he created, he formed. He says, thou also, son of man, take thee a towel and lay it before thee and portray upon it the city and Jerusalem. So anyway, so we see all through here, he calling them son of man. He calling these prophets son of man. So when you understand what that means, go back to Genesis chapter 6. No, not chapter 6, chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1. Chapter 1, verse 26.
Got it.
It says, and God said, let us make man in our image. See that man. So everybody after that is son of man. So let us make man in our image after our likeness and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowls of the air, over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creep upon the earth. Now go back to Psalm 8. Psalm 8, and it says, verse 4. says, what is man that thou art mindful of him, and the son of man, right? When you understand what that means, that thou visited him. See that? Or thou hast made him a little Lord. He's talking about this man he created. He ain't talking about JC. Said, for thou hast made him a little Lord than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. Thou madest him to have dominion. You just read that. Over the works of thy hands, and thou hast put all things under his feet, the sheep and the oxen. You just read that. Yea, and the beasts of the field, the fowls of the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passeth through the path of the sea. And like I was saying before, when you come to find out what these clowns did, they just saying stuff, but it don't mean nothing. You see that?
Right.
Okay.
In the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and 8, Daniel is referred to as Son of Man.
Right, exactly. That's and so it's a whole nother meaning. They didn't give you a whole nother meaning to the Son of Man, but the correct meaning and thinking like a Hebrew is that these men are sons of the man that he formed and created in the beginning. That's why he called them Son of Man. You know, he ain't calling them by their names.
Right. Son of Man, Adam.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Mike just could have been. He just said son of Adam.
Right.
Adam meaning man.
Right. And so they didn't turn around and made put a whole other cliche on it, because in the book of Enoch, he tells Enoch, you know, he's the Son of Man. You know what I'm saying? So either Enoch the Son of Man or JC the Son of Man.
No, it's Enoch.
Right. Okay, exactly. We know that. Okay. Okay. Anybody else got anything else on that? Okay. Anybody got any current events? Okay, I got a couple, and then we go into this. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, this is a little short video. This is the oil spill that they had in California. It's going on right now. Just don't know how much more this place can take, man.
We've got all these oil rigs out here, and what I understand, they're all pretty old, and we've had oil spills in the past, and you're just hoping that it doesn't happen, but over time, you know, the odds are that something like this is going to happen sooner or later, and you just hope it's not too bad.
Okay, yeah, so that's ongoing right now. So that's on top of everything else we didn't discuss. You see, now we got an oil spill disaster in California. California really been getting it.
So that's going to raise the price of gas. So that's going to impact the economy negatively.
Right.
And impact everyone's pocketbook.
Right. Ain't that something?
Man, as if God is on crazy enough.
Oh yeah, ain't that something? Yeah, here go another one right here. Can you see that? Can you see that?
Yeah, we got it.
It says Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and other large retailers are chartering ships to bypass the supply chain problem, while the strategy save will the strategy save Christmas? Yeah, that's all they worry about. Some pagan holiday. But look what it says. With the supply chain channels snared by the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, major retailers like Target Corporation and Home Depot Incorporated are taking matters in their own hands, chartering ships to deliver goods in time for important holiday season. It says retailers large and small, consumers packaged goods companies and other businesses have been impacted by COVID-related bottlenecks at the ports. Manufacturing shut down overseas and other high costs related to transporting merchandise. Dollar Tree Inc., for example, said that the one ship was delayed for 2 months after the crew member tested positive. Right? Major retailers with deep pockets are putting their sizable financial resources to use to avoid the holiday season supply chain disaster, but it comes at a cost. This is a very expensive thing, said Michael Zimmerman, that's an Edomite, partner at the global consulting firm, I guess Carnegie, who says leasing ships is a solution for now. If you are a mid-sized retailer or emerging fashion brand, you can't rent your own ship. So that's a disaster right there in itself. So they just phasing out the little man. Right? Any comment?
I would imagine them transportation costs would be high for them to do that.
Right.
And then who's going to bear the burden of that?
Right.
The consumer.
Right. Exactly.
All this is falling right back on the consumer. All that they do.
Right. And they canceling out all this, they canceling out all of the little man. They canceling them out. That's a way of canceling out the little man.
Small businesses, yes.
Right. That's all they want. Big conglomerates. Yeah. So here go one more. Like I said, if it ain't like it ain't enough already going on. So White House put China on notice. And they in no position to do this. It says Biden administration is warning China over its increasing provocations against Taiwan, the critical flashpoint amid the ongoing poor relationship between Washington and Beijing. Taiwan raised the alarm after Chinese warplanes violated its airspace nearly 150 times over the course of about 4 days. Now, you can't read between that. Say, leaving Taiwanese and some American officials worried about a military confrontation. We urge Beijing to cease its military, diplomatic, and economic pressure and coincide against Taiwan, against the coercions against Taiwan, and we have an abiding interest in the peace and stability across Taiwan Strait. Okay, says that's why we will continue to assist Taiwan in maintaining a sufficient self-defense capabilities. White House Press Secretary Jan Psaki told the reporters on Monday. So, like I was saying, America ain't in no position to be telling nobody like China nothing. They got too many issues going on. And China know that. Is there something?
Yeah, I know that. I guess the Chinese general for the Air Force told whoever they put in power over here to run the budget, the military budget or the Air Force budget, that they need to make new updated fighter jets for the United States. So China just created this bad jet, this real nice stealth fighter jet. So he told them, he said, China told them, he said, tell the U.S. to meet us in the air.
Okay. Yeah, right. And that's exactly what it seemed like they're doing too. Like he said, they didn't violate Taiwan 150 times in 4 days. Come on. They already tell you what their intentions is.
No more diplomatic approach. They like meet us in the air, meet us on the streets.
Exactly. That's the last thing America needs is a war. That's why they hightailed out of Afghanistan, trying to get out from under that. So China, you think China don't know that, and Russia and these other countries don't know that? Yeah.
And don't you think China is the one who's behind North Korea's ability to build these nuclear weapons that they are testing? And
yeah, exactly. You're right. Them and Russia.
Wow.
Is there something?
Yeah. What'd you say, Mike? Meet me in the air.
Right.
That ain't good. Not good.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna play this little short video right quick.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. I decided to talk about this particular issue, as you see from the title, what I'm going to be talking about, because I want to interject some thoughts, okay? A lot of people seem like they're so confused as to what happens with so-called Black people, especially when we see our government sitting here telling us certain things that we need done, right? They don't have the funds for it. We just can't afford it right now, right? But they have millions of dollars that they want to throw at the Afghans. They want to help them out. Did I say millions? I meant billions. Scratch that millions, y'all. Billions.
Okay.
Spend billions to help the Afghan people who just escaped some very rough situations. Oh, the hearts are bleeding right now. They want to help these people. Now, get this. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a person who has, I do show and have concern when people are suffering. So, of course, I don't think people should be suffering. I don't take any pleasure in it. And even when I see people of other races, like the people over in the Middle East, and I see the suffering that they go through, of course, I'm touched by it. That's me. Everyone is different. I'm not expecting you to feel the way that I do, right? But when I see their children suffering and bleeding and hurting and, things of that nature, of course, and I see the mothers holding them and crying or the fathers holding them and crying, it is natural and very normal, especially for a woman, to feel pain or hurt for them, or to feel condolences, or to feel some type of, emotion towards that. That being said, I really wouldn't have a problem with our government helping the Afghans if they extended that same hand to our people who have been in this land for hundreds of years, going through some very, very serious persecution. Now, again, I always have to bring it back to the fact that I already know what biblical prophecy says. I already know that this stuff, looking to from a human standpoint right now, where you have people who don't have any concern for what so-called Black people go through, but all of a sudden they appear money out of nowhere when it comes to other people. Of course, the bill that he's trying to present is for other things as well. As a matter of fact, you can hear some of the details for yourself, and then I'll be back with my own take on things. I've already shared some of what I was feeling, but I want to give you some more after you take a listen at what exactly the Biden administration is trying to do. Here you go. Be right back.
The White House is seeking billions in emergency funds this month from Congress to help resettle tens of thousands of Afghan immigrants into the U.S. In a spending request Tuesday outlining urgent needs, President Joe Biden's administration asked Congress to authorize $6.4 billion for Afghan resettlement efforts 1 week after the U.S. ended its military effort in Afghanistan. The U.S. is currently working to resettle Afghan allies evacuated from the war-torn country. White House officials also requested at least $10 billion for recovery efforts from Hurricane Ida, and an additional $14 billion for other recent natural disasters, including Hurricanes Laura and Delta from last year. Shalonda Young, acting director of the Office of Management and Budget, made the budget request Tuesday, less than 4 weeks before the current 2021 fiscal year ends September 30. Together the requests total more than $30 billion. Young proposed the spending in a request for a short-term continuing resolution that would also give more time for Congress to pass a full budget for the 2022 fiscal year, which is set to begin October 1. Federal government spending will end on September 30. Forcing a shutdown, unless there is action from Congress. We strongly urge Congress to use the short-term CR to meet our commitments to Afghan allies and partners, Young said in an OMB blog post discussing the request. The operation to move out of danger and to safety tens of thousands of Afghans at risk, including many who helped us during our 2 decades in Afghanistan, represents an extraordinary military, diplomatic, security, and humanitarian operation by the U.S. government. The funding for Afghan refugees would support U.S. resettlement operations overseas and plans for as many as 65,000 vulnerable Afghans to arrive in the U.S. by the end of his month, according to the White House, and up to 30,000 additional Afghans over the next year. The U.S. helped evacuate more than 124,000 people out of Afghanistan, including 6,400 Americans, before ending the 20-year war in the country.
Yeah. So, anybody got any comments?
Yes, I got a comment.
Okay.
So they're going to target $6 billion towards the Afghans, right?
Right.
And the last count I got on the Afghans was 37,500. If you do the math on that, that's 160,000 per Afghan.
Okay.
Just imagine that somebody give you $160,000 to get started.
Right. Exactly.
Boy, that's a crime and a shame, boy.
Right. It's appalling, man, because it just ran the nations off.
$160,000 to get started in life.
Oh, yeah. That's
That's
crazy.
unreal.
And then you got the African American over here that built this place, but you know they see a need to make sure that these Afghans is secure, rather than the people that built the country. It's crazy, man. Yeah.
Hey, my thing is, are they making them a citizen, or are they? What's the deal with that part?
Yeah, they don't have to. They could just make them political refugees. That's what I was saying.
Right.
That they
Exactly.
consider political
See,
refugees.
the reason I'm
Right.
asking is Rome did the same thing with immigrants, so they could tax them. They would take the immigrants and make them citizens so they could tax them.
Right.
And
Right.
I was wondering, was America doing the same thing?
Yeah, it's the same process. They just backdooring it, but then they also when you look in the military, they got them all in the military. So they looking for their sons too. Put them in the military.
Wow.
Yeah, ain't nothing no different than what Rome did.
And of course,
go ahead.
Of course, this is happening under a democratic regime, so you're probably going to make them Democrats too, to add to the political numbers.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, but it's like I said, it's a slapping in our face, and like I said, after all they did, changed and turned the whole election from one direction and turned it into another one just so Joe Biden can win. And now all of a sudden, this is what he's doing. You know, like I said, it's an insult to our intelligence.
They following the same process Rome did, but all we got to do is trust the process. It's gonna fall.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, it's falling as we speak. Ain't that something?
And plus, they don't know who they letting in with these Afghans. They don't know if half of them terrorists or what.
Right.
Right, but that's what she said. She said 120 something. Well, that man said 120 something thousand, and only 6,000 were Americans.
Right. Exactly. And they just turned it. They act like it's such a big old problem for the little 10,000, 12,000 Haitians that was under the bridge in Del Rio. But you over here working with numbers over 100,000 people dealing with these Afghanistans. And they done blowed up America, the World Trade Center.
Right. They the reason. Right. Oh man, this place is finished.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy, man. But the thing about it is, like Dr. Claude Anderson was saying, we keep allowing it to happen. They keep on it so long telling.
And I'm gonna tell you something else. I don't know about y'all, but every black neighborhood I ever been in, there's an Arab gas station somewhere in there, and that's a sleeper cell. That's a 50,000 gallon bomb they sitting on.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, that's all across America.
Right. They didn't train them to do that. They come right in and fit within the environment, but the whole time they got a whole other agenda.
Right. Right.
They don't care two cents about you. They're trained to do that.
So with the way I see this thing, so the Afghans get flown into the country and given a pocket full of money.
Right.
The Haitians got whipped and flown out of the country.
Right. Exactly.
Boy, that's an injustice if you ever.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Injustice if you ever have seen one.
Oh yeah. And it ain't nothing but, like I said, it ain't even a smidget. The numbers of the Haitians that compared to these Afghans, you know. So that's I mean, like I said, it's an insult to our intelligence as a group of people. It's crazy. And they'll come right back again in 2022 and 2024 trying to support the Democrats. You know, it's crazy, man. Yeah. So let me play this, man. Then we'll go into the lesson because this is just like yeah. Show a little bit of it. So just like Lamar was saying, it's going down as we speak.
The systemic meltdown has shaken the financial world this week as dozens of banks started to suffer repeated outages all around the globe. Just this week, bank systems were down in 7 countries across 5 continents, leaving tens of millions of customers extremely frustrated. In the U.S., thousands of customers reported outages in the Bank of America app on October the 1st, right when rent, utilities, and other bills are often due. Many of them revealed that even after the system was allegedly restored, some operations were not working, which left them late on several bills and forced them to pay credit card interest. But despite the major inconvenience, things could be a lot worse. For instance, in New Zealand, now in its 7th week of nationwide lockdown, millions were left without access to their money, as banking services were down at a time all local branches were closed. One of the country's largest lenders, Kiwi Bank, faced a major outage on Tuesday after a DDoS attack on New Zealand's 3rd largest internet provider resulted in IT crashes at a number of lenders, including Commonwealth Bank and ANZ Bank. The latest IT outage was just one of a series of others the bank has suffered over the past 3 weeks. During a DDoS attack, hackers inundate the system with millions of bots that try to connect to a given website all at once. Consequently, the website crashes and services become inaccessible. Servers are not broken and data isn't stolen, but it can still spark a cascade of systemic failures that can take days to be reversed. Of course, New Zealand and the United States aren't the only countries facing massive outages within their banking systems in recent weeks. In banks across the United Kingdom, South Africa, Venezuela, Japan, and Mexico, operating failures were also reported recently. At least 24 million account holders of Mexico's largest bank, BBVA Mexico, were left unable to use the bank's ATMs, its mobile app, or make in-store payments for over 20 hours, starting in the morning of September 12th. The bank said in a statement the outage occurred due to a system update failure and assured its customers their financial data was not compromised. It had nothing to do with the outside world, stressed Jose Terrazas, the bank's director of communication and corporate identity. The bank and its customers' information is secure. What we did was undo the changes to the system and return everything to as it was. Strangely enough, less than a week after the BBVA outage, Santander Mexico also faced an operational crash that left customers across the country unable to use their debit cards at the ATM or in stores. One more time, it was said the problem was related to internal.
There's some, yeah. So, like I was saying before, all the signs are right there, and they just talking, you know. It ain't you know, it ain't the talking ain't going nowhere because anybody with with their head screwed on straight can see what's happening. This thing is imploding all around us. And they're trying to play it off as if it's they got it under control. Yeah. Any comments?
Yeah, it's time to get the houses. That economic failure with banks and things like that, and people have no access to their finances and everything else going on. Yeah, this is done.
Right. That's what it's coming to. Because when that get to the point where the people can't access their money, that's when they come into the streets.
Yeah, so access to
Civil war.
money. Yep,
Right.
civil war. You got the ports are locked up.
Right.
All of the madness, man.
Right.
And
It's
then
like
people are,
any day.
and
Yeah.
people were going crazy. I didn't even know that those social media sites were out. I didn't even know.
Right. Yeah, pretty much
Just
all day yesterday.
Yeah, that was
yeah,
yesterday. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
and all of that's going. Oh,
Right.
And then on top of that, Biden is trying to pass a bill where that the IRS could monitor and look into your bank account if you got $600 or more.
Right.
You know, they saying they doing it under the guise of people are cheating on their taxes, but we know it's greater than that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
people have been cheating on taxes forever.
Right. Exactly. Right. And let you know they're at a loss. They need money too.
Right. So what they're gonna do yet? They're gonna start taking money out of your account
Right. Exactly. Right.
to pay off their debt.
Right. Exactly.
and blank out the system. There's a glitch
Exactly.
in the
Right.
system.
Right. Blackout.
Right.
Blackout. Right. Is that something? Yeah. Right.
Man, this Biden is proven to be just as low as Trump.
Oh yeah. Right. 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 Yeah. That's one of the things I was saying. I talked about before was what a lot of people don't understand about that. How they've been getting over on us for years and years and years. They always bring this charismatic guy on the scene. Like back in the day, they brought Kennedy on the scene, JFK. But the man that was wielding all the power was his vice president, Lyndon Johnson. He's a old Illuminati man, no faithful and true to the Illuminati, and he the one running everything. They used JFK to get him in there. They never in 1,000 years would have voted for Lyndon Johnson, but they'll vote for Kennedy. And so Kennedy just up there, he the figurehead. And they did the same thing with Obama. Biden was the man behind the scenes, and they did it with Bush. Cheney was the man. That's the one running everything. He been tried and true. That's what they want in there. He not appealing to the public, but he the one that they want. He the one they want there. He's more or less like he's like the handler. He's the one running everything behind the scenes.
And don't forget these malicious groups. They when they see Haiti trying to come over here now, they saying they got to take their country back. So you
Right.
know,
Exactly.
it's everything on the rise. It's gonna pop.
Oh yeah, it's gonna pop. Right. Right. Yeah. And we ain't where we was at 5 years ago. We ain't going for that. You know, them days over with. So it's gonna be total chaos because you ain't gonna be able to tell you to get off the side of the sidewalk or call you boy, man. They gonna get lit up. You know, that's where it's at.
Exactly. And
Well, yeah.
and King Alpha, that King Alpha plan gonna be full in effect.
Right. Exactly.
But you know what? That may not be a bad thing, because that would segregate us. We'll be
Right.
set apart from them.
Right. Exactly.
And
That's
then
that's
that
what's
way
needed.
we can gather ourselves together and return to the Lord of hosts.
Right. Exactly.
So
It's
I
gonna
understand.
it's gonna come
I
out in
know
our
that,
favor.
right. So that King Alpha plan may work in our favor.
Oh
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
We just gotta
Right.
trust the process. No matter
Right.
how bad
Because
it looks.
I don't know how we're going to
Yeah.
gather ourselves. We got to gather ourselves. That's part of the formula for the Lord of hosts to return to
Right.
us. It's, so, if it's the King Alfred plan, let it be. Because at some point, we do have to come together as a people
Right.
and stand up on something together.
Yeah. I tell you something. There's a serious crush to us as a people, and so many people ain't even aware. But it's that boule factor. See, that's what we got to get rid of.
Right.
Man, we need to kill them. I
Oh
can't say
yeah,
what I wanna say. Them
Now,
them niggas
you
going.
said what
Woo.
we all was thinking, Lamar. They got to fall by the sword.
yeah, they got to go, man. And just,
Ain't
we
no
got to
other
be
way
called
around.
out. Right,
They can
They,
plead
they, they, they,
all they want. Man, there ain't
yeah,
gonna
they
be no
can't
mercy.
assimilate. They can't assimilate with the
No.
grassroots. No,
right.
they gotta go.
They got to go,
Yeah,
man.
they
Right.
hurting us bad. They hurting us bad.
That's our problem. That's our problem right there. Uh huh. That's the problem. That was the biggest trick Esau ever did when he came up with them, that bootleg. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's leaking. It's leaking slowly as to who people are through the media and
Right.
through popularity. There's a lot of the young brothers now that are in the hip hop community that know, who we are.
Right.
You know, So whether that could help, snuff out, because I know the moment the Boule see what's going on, their handlers are going to say, "Get on those boys," But I
Right.
just hope that
Exactly.
who's ever
Right.
teaching these kids, while they're out there on the social media platforms, informing the younger generation as to who they are, that that's a way that they'll snuff out the Boule. I hope so. That's all I
Right.
could pray for.
Right. Because an example of that was at the bridge in Del Rio. Al Sharpton came down there. They booed him.
That's a
Well,
start.
yeah, they wouldn't even let him talk. Yeah.
They
And that's
they
all.
they strategy Esau's strategy is keep us divided and conquer. Divide
Right.
and conquer.
Exactly.
And we turn on each other. I see so many celebrities turning on each other
Right.
about foolishness.
Right.
You know, so until we get out of that mindset, which I know they are being used to do that.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
so we got to get out of that mindset. But on the point that you guys was making, Al Crompton and what's his name, Ben Crompton or Ben Crump, whatever his name.
Yeah.
I think they two of the biggest enemies to our
Oh
people.
yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the same thing they told Jesse Jackson when he went to Ferguson when Mike Brown got
Right.
slaughtered,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
They told him we don't want you here, brother. You better get
Right.
out there.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. They didn't game on. They didn't peep game on that, man. They ain't working. They ain't working no more. Right.
But they find people to replace them, like the young girl. She's the new one, Candace.
Owens. Candace
Candace,
Owens.
yeah, she's stepping up to the plate for that whole movement. So they got to find new faces. They got to find new faces to replace the old ones.
Right. Like that song? Right. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and go into the lesson. I'm reading out of the book of where I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody got any questions they want to bring up?
I got a question, Leonard.
Okay.
From our discussion on Sunday
Okay.
about Genesis 15 and 16.
Okay.
I'll read it real quick. And but in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquities of the Amorites is not yet full. So I was doing some reading since our discussions that when we all had gotten together, and I came across a couple passages that refer to the iniquity, our people transgressing worse than the Amorites. One was an indictment against Israel. A second one was an indictment against Judah. And if you, brother, can appease me, if y'all don't mind turning to 1 Kings 21, 25, and 26.
1 Kings 21?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. It reads
21?
Yeah, 1 Kings 21, verses 25 and 26.
Okay, all right, I got it.
But there was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Lord, whom Jezebel his wife stirred up. And he did very abominably in following idols, according to all the things as did the Amorites, whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel. First of all, this speaks volumes. If this man, it reads that he sold himself to do wickedness. Right. So he went all in.
Right.
There was no stone unturned with this man. And so he called Israel to sin and worshiping idols.
Right.
So, and as you see, it said that he did according to all that the Amorites have done.
Exactly. Right.
And then also that was Israel. If you turn to 2 Kings chapter 21, you will see how Judah did the same thing.
2 Kings 21?
Yes.
All right.
I think it's around verse 10.
Okay.
And it reads, and the Lord spake by his servants the prophets, saying, because Manasseh, king of Judah, has done these abominations and have done wickedly above all that the Amorites did, which were before him, and have made Judah also to sin with his idols. Therefore, thus says the Lord God of Israel, behold, I am bringing such evil upon Jerusalem and Judah, that whosoever heareth of it, both his ears shall tingle. Can you imagine that?
Oh yeah, right.
You know, you in Moab, and you hear about what did happen to Judah and Jerusalem, and man, and a quiver come across your body because you, man, I mean that the sin and abominations that our forefathers committed had to be something great. But I found out in Leviticus 18, it describes those sins that the people of the land was doing. And some of those people in that land, of course, we know was the Amorites. So Leviticus 18 outlined those abominations that was being done.
What verse?
Man, the whole chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
If you guys get a chance, the whole chapter of Leviticus 18. But if you want to, what's that, Mike?
No, I was just saying all the thou nots and what we should not do.
Right.
And the nakedness of thy father's daughter, you know, all of those things that you just shouldn't do. You know, that is not profitable. You know, thou shalt, like for instance, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister. So these were all the. So that's what you're saying. These are all the abominations the Amorites was doing.
Right.
Right. And if you go to 18 and 21, it's kind of zero in on, the sacrificing of our children to the pagan gods.
Right.
Right. Pass through the fire.
Right. That was up in the high places, up in the mountain. Correct. They did that. Right.
So these commandments and statutes and judgments was given to us for a purpose.
Right.
Israel was to get rid of all of that. The Lord of hosts was using our forefathers to get rid of all of those abominations up out of the land before they came into the land. So that's why that was the wars in the land was to root that out.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Exactly. Right. They never did.
Right. Right. And another thing about that is the fact that when you go back and you remember that at the Tower of Babel was when the land was divided up by the angels, by the 70 angels, right? And so he telling us right there what you just read was that he said he been there the whole time. He said the Amorites was doing it before y'all came. I had to sit here and witness what the Amorites was doing, and now I went and got you and brought you here, and you doing worse than what they was doing.
Exactly.
Right. So what I wanted to read. Go ahead, Mike.
Let me read that right quick then. This is still chapter 18 of Leviticus. I'll start at 26. So this is what he's saying when he says, I think you brought this out a while ago, but he's saying, ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger or sojourn among you. For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which where before you the land is defiled.
Right.
So them the Amorites.
Right. Yes, sir. That's exactly what I got out of it, man. I was like, damn. Now when your eyes is open to what's is happening, it jumping out the page at you.
Right, exactly. Right.
And he told you in, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, he told us in Judges 2 and 3, I think, that since we didn't tear down their altars, he brought them in the land, but he said them and their gods gonna be a thorn in your side.
Right, exactly. That goes directly back. I go right back to Genesis 15 and 16.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to pick up where you had stopped at when you start reading that, Mike, and Andre in 2 Kings 21 and 14. They also he tells you right here what they're doing too. 14 says, and I will forsake the remnant of my inheritance and deliver them into the hands of their enemies, and they shall become a prey and a spoil to all their enemies. Then here you go, 15, because they have done that which was evil in my sight, and have provoked me to anger since the day their fathers came forth out of Egypt, even to this day. Moreover, Manasseh shed innocent blood. That's sacrificing the kids. That's why he say innocent blood. Sacrificing kids very much till he had filled Jerusalem from one end to the another. Besides his sin, wherewith he made Judah to sin in doing that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. So when you read verse 14, you understand that Most High always left a remnant. He'd run them out, but he'd leave a small remnant there. And he said, because of what Manasseh done in 14, I will forsake the remnant. So that takes us to Obadiah. See that?
Right.
Yeah. Because he always leave a remnant. That's why he keep asking that question. Am I not righteous? Am I not righteous? And what he mean by that is, don't I always leave a remnant here? And so to let you know I'm going to bring you back. But because of this right here, Manasseh, and especially what Manasseh done, he said he's going to forsake the remnant.
But he also leaves a remnant I don't want to say the wicked, but let's say he left a remnant of Japhet and his wife.
Right.
Seed of Cain. He left Ham and his wife.
Right.
You know, that remnant, the 6-day man. So he's still giving them a chance to be righteous.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why when people read over there when they don't understand those like those little Hebrew idioms, which mean a whole lot. So when he asked the question, "Am I not righteous?" you have to find out what he's talking about. So he's saying that no matter who he's dealing with, being a righteous judge, don't I always leave a remnant? We know he left a remnant of the fallen angels. So nobody had no excuse to say that he haven't given them an opportunity to get right. So when he implode, when he come back and wipe this whole thing out, nobody can't say nothing because he did leave them a remnant. He was righteous and gave them an opportunity, but they ain't doing right. Yeah.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
All right. All the 13 captivities, every time we got free, we went back to our own land, right?
Right.
All right. Some people in America think we free. If we free, why we not back in our land?
Exactly. Right. Yeah, that's a serious statement there. Right.
And that ties right back to that Genesis 15, 13.
Right. Exactly. Right.
I just think in that clause, that passage in Genesis 15 and 16, the iniquities of the Amorites is not yet complete. I think that is throughout the book, man. It's we just take it and read over it, but the effects of it is throughout the book. Now that we understand what that means, so when you go into saying a lot of what has happened to our forefathers and the judgment that has come upon them, it goes right back to the iniquities of the Amorites and imitating their behavior.
Right.
So I think that is it has its footprint throughout the Tanakh.
Right. Well, yeah. So I'm glad you said that. So I'm gonna read this right quick. I'm in Deuteronomy 28, the curses. So you just read those two passages in First Kings and Second Kings, and the problem with the main thing about the Amorites is worshiping other gods, idols, right, and sacrificing to them idols. So we over here in 28, Deuteronomy 28, and he tells us right here, 28 and 64, starting at 64. The Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods. That's the Amorites right there. Other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers as idols. Wood and stone, that's idols. 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the soles of thy feet find rest, but the Lord shall give thee there trembling of heart, failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. So right there, same thing. That's tied back to Genesis 15 and 16. Still worshiping idols.
Yeah, every Sunday.
Right. Go ahead.
And every Sunday and all during the week.
Right. This is what this land set up on idols.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that leads to my question. Okay. It has the iniquity of America come to its completeness.
I would say so. Because from everything we see going on.
Well, it's looking like it.
That's why we seeing what we seeing. Judgment time.
I agree with all y'all, so I'm just making sure we all on the same page that this iniquity has come to its fullness.
Right.
So we can apply that to today.
Right. And well, another thing you can do is look at what he just said. He said the Amorites was here before you, and they sins is what caused him to bring the Israelites there to run them out. And then Israel came in with the same thing, and he brought the Chaldeans and the Greeks and ran them out. So we know quite naturally the Americans, same thing will happen to them. Because they doing far worse than what was going on back in the day. So we know they're gonna get judged. They're gonna get judged. They're gonna get driven out. And we see
look at it.
already started.
And look at it. Who built this into a powerful nation?
Right.
See, he bring nations up. He bring up empires and he tear them down. He done brought this one up to be the strongest on the earth.
Right. Exactly.
And he gonna demolish.
Right.
His people brought it up.
Right. Just like right. And his people brought Egypt up.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, let me understand. Yeah. Ain't that something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I just was still dealing with that from our conversation, because the conversation was such a great conversation that we had on Sunday that I just wanted to do some extra reading on, and I came across those two passages, and it was just crazy. Israel and Judah was both indicted about their behavior, acting like the Amorites.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah. That verse 15 and 16 is holding a lot of weight. Genesis 15 and 16. Is something?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so I'm gonna go over here and read a little bit of read some chapters out of Micah. Yeah, so I'm in Micah. I'm gonna read some of the introduction first. It says that the historical setting, Micah dates his prophecies according to the southern kingdom, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. These kings of Judah reigned from about 752 to 697 BC. The reign of King Ahaz, one of the most wicked kings of all of Judah's history, is in the background of much of Micah's prophecy. The dark picture presented by Micah's prophecies may reflect the reign of King Ahaz, while the brothers aspects of Micah's prophecies reflect the godly rule of King Hezekiah. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to pick it up with chapter 1, verse 1. It says, judgment on Samaria and Jerusalem. The word of the Lord that came to Micah, the Morashite, in the days of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, which he saw concerning Samaria and Jerusalem. Hear all ye people, hearken, O earth, and all that therein, and let the Lord God be witness against you. And the Lord, hold on 1 minute. Can you read that chapter 1 right there, Andre? I'll be right back.
Okay. The word of the Lord that came to Micah, the Morashite, in the days of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, which he saw concerning Samaria and Jerusalem. Hear ye, all you people, hearken, O earth, and all that therein is, and let the Lord God be witness against you, the Lord from his temple. For behold, the Lord cometh from out of his place, and will come down and tread upon the high places of the earth. And the mountains shall be molten under him, and the valleys shall be cleft as wax before the fire, and as the waters that are poured down a steep place. For the transgression of Jacob is all this, and for the sins of the house of Israel. What is the transgressions of Jacob? Is it not Samaria? And what are the high places of Judah? Are they not Jerusalem? Therefore I will make Samaria as an heap of the field, and as plantings of a vineyard, and I will pour down the stones thereof into the valley, and I will discover the fountains thereof. And all the graven images thereof shall be beaten to pieces, and all the hires thereof shall be burned with fire, and all the idols thereof will I lay desolate. For she gathered it of the hire of an harlot, and they shall return to the hire of an harlot.
Okay, that was
That was
chapter
7.
1.
Yeah,
That was chapter 1.
Yeah, chapter 1. I just finished with verse 7.
Oh, using 7? Okay, all right. Okay, I'll start. You can read all that 1 if you want to.
Okay, sure. Therefore, I will wail and howl. I will go stripped and naked. I will make a wailing like the dragons, and mourning as the owls. For her wound is incurable. For it is come unto Judah. He is coming to the gate of my people, even to Jerusalem. Declare ye, it's not at Gath. Weep ye not at all in the house of Ephraim. Roll thyself in the dust. Pass ye away, thou inhabitants of Sephir, having thy shame naked. The inhabitants of Zanan came north in the morning of Beth Ezel. He shall receive of you his standing. For the inhabitant of Marath waited carefully for good, but evil came down from the Lord unto the gate of Jerusalem. O thou inhabitants of Lachish, bind a chariot to the swift beast. She is the beginning of the sin to the daughter of Zion, for the transgressions of Israel was found in thee. Therefore shalt thou give presents to Morish.
That's an idol. That's a god.
Okay.
I'm right, God.
The houses of Akzib shall be shall be a lie to the kings of Israel. Yet I will bring an heir unto thee, O inhabitants of Marisha. He shall come unto Adullam, the glory of Israel. Make thee balls, and pole thee for thy delicate children. Enlarge thy baldness as the eagle, for they are gone into captivity from thee.
Okay. Yeah, so the thing I want to shine light on, I'll get somebody else take on it too, but you see verse 9, chapter 1, verse 9?
Right.
It says, for her wound is incurable, for it is come unto Judah. He is come unto the gates of my people, even Jerusalem. So what that reminds you of when you see her wound is incurable? Don't that take you back to Isaiah 53?
Yeah, right.
Right. So, but right. Notice right here in verse 9 it says her womb is incurable. So go to Isaiah 53. Yeah, this just an answer question for me, man. I've been dealing with it for a minute. It says her right there, but when you go to Isaiah, let me get it. Isaiah 53. Isaiah 53, and it says him. See that? It says verse 3. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief, and we hid as it were our faces from him. He is despised, and we esteem him not. Surely he hath borne our grief and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded in our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquity. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. So we see right here the person that's been afflicted right here, he's using him, but over here he said her, right? So we know Israel is the Most High bride, right?
Right.
Okay, so who is this him? Like I said before, go to Isaiah 52, 13, 14, and 15. That's who the him is. You in Isaiah 52, 13, 14, and 15? You got it?
52. Got it.
We're looking for the servant. He tell you right here, behold, my servant, there it is, shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high. As many were astonished at his vestige was so marred, more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men. So it's a group of men. So 15. So shall he sprinkle. Who do the sprinkling?
Priest.
Levites,
There you
priests.
go. That's the priesthood. That's why he using him over here. But over here, this wound that's incurable over here in Micah is her. That's Israel. But the suffering servant, I went to Deuteronomy. I went to Numbers chapter 18, and he told you the Levites and the priesthood is going to bear the iniquity.
Hey, Leonard, will those incurable wounds apply to Isaiah 1:5 verses 5 and 6 as well?
Right, yeah. And then it's even more profound when you go to Jeremiah. Go to Jeremiah right quick, chapter 30.
Yeah, Jeremiah. That's what I was going to go to. Jeremiah 30.
Right. And when you start connecting these dots with these verses, you can see it ain't got nothing to do with JC. So chapter 30, I'm gonna start at verse 7. It says, Atlas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. See that? But he shall be saved out of it. Talking about the whole nation. For it shall come to pass in that day, says the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and he will burst thy bounds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve the Lord their God and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, says the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and I see from the land of their captivity, and Jacob shall return and be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, said the Lord, to save thee, though I will make a full end of the nations whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and I will leave thee altogether unpunished. Here we go right here. For thus says the Lord God, thy bruise is incurable. There it is. And thy wound is grievous. There is none that to plead thy cause, that thou may be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, and with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased. So we see right here the same information being dispersed that's in Isaiah 53 right here. And it ain't JC.
Hey, Leonard, if you don't mind, go to Isaiah.
Also,
Go ahead, Lamar.
oh, I was just gonna say, in Ezekiel 4:4, he made Ezekiel lay on his side for the iniquity of Israel.
Right. Exactly. You're a priest, ain't he?
Right.
Right. Yeah. What you saying, Andre?
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 5 and 6. It all ties in together.
Okay. So we should why should ye be stricken anymore? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. From the sole of thy feet even unto the head. There is no soundness in thee, but wound and bruises and purifying sores, and they have none been closed. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Right, exactly. That's all. That's all. Line upon line, precept upon precept.
Yep.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. They didn't just leave it in one spot to witness it. You know.
So I got a question. Then I got a question. So the incurable, right? The incurable wound.
Right.
Right. Well, we know that they were dealing with the Babylonian captivity, right?
Right. Exactly.
But they still knew that they were Israel.
Right.
But we here, and the majority of our people don't know who we are. Like, you know what could be, what could be that's grievous, and you know what I'm saying. So therefore, no one to plead thy cause. This is back in 30 Jeremiah 30. Therefore, none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. thou hast no healing medicine, and all thy lovers have forgotten thee. You know what I mean? And I have wounded thee with a
Right.
wound of an enemy.
Right.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. Back to the Amorite situation. So we still suffering for following the Amorites, because this right here, what we going through, well, we could go back in the book and see that Israel still knew who they were. They could gather who they needed to gather to go back into the land of Rubabel. But right now, man, we don't know head from tail.
Right.
That's
Right.
incurable. Yeah.
Right. Right. You know what that grievous wound is, right?
What?
David. He took the seed of David out. That's why he says none to plead that cause.
Back up in verse 9. Okay, right.
He took out the king and the high priest. That's why I was looking for the verse. Somebody might know where it's at, but he says there's no Israel has went many days without a king and without a priest.
Hosea
You know what that's
3.
at? Hosea,
Hosea
right? Okay.
3.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So
4 and
that's
5.
a grievous wound. That's a grievous wound. Yeah. It says, chapter 3, Hosea 3 and verse 1 says, Then said the Lord unto me, Go ye love a woman, behold, beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of the Lord toward the children of Israel, who look to other gods. They go to Amorites right there. Love flagons of wine. So I bought her to me for 15 pieces of silver and for a homer of barley, and a half homer of barley. And I said unto her, Thou shalt abide for many days. Thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man. So will I also be for thee. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king. See, it's the wound. Without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without a teraphim. So the priest and the high priest has the ephod and the teraphim. Say, afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God. And then you go to wound getting healed right here. And David, their king, and they shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. So David is the one, and the seed of David is the one that pleaded the cause for Israel. And he took that away. The king and the high priest, that's the grievous wound. That's the breach. Okay. Yeah.
He definitely wounded us with a wound of an enemy.
Right.
Taking all that away from him.
Right, exactly.
You know, over in Isaiah 3, it talks about even more. He took away the mighty man, the man of war, the judge, and all of that. You know,
yeah, the young man and the bride,
everything.
Left us confused and dismayed.
Right.
And then took knowledge of self from us.
Right. Right.
You don't even know who you are. You be walking around here in the days.
Right.
Yeah, we were so organized back then. They had captains over 50, over 100.
Right.
It was organized.
Hey, even captains over 10, Lamar. You're right. We was organized.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Ain't that something? Yeah, I was getting ready to read something. Yeah, I was getting ready to, I forgot what it was, but I was man, I forgot what it was. So let me go back to where I was at. I'm gonna start read chapter 2. I'm gonna read 2 more chapters. So chapter 2 says, woe to the oppressor of the poor, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds when the morning is light. They practice it because it is the power of their hand, and they covered fields and take them by violence, and houses, and they take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Therefore, thus says the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. So I want to read some on that, man. Shine a light on that, because yeah. So I go here all the time, but I'm in the book of Adam and Eve, right? And so look at this. So this ties to the Amorites, what I was telling you about. So here we go. I'm in the book of Adam and Eve, and this is what they were doing. This way before the flood. It says right here. It says, and here we go. It say, and when men saw that they were vanquished and saw that other were not beaten, those who were beaten came to Tubal Cain and took refuge with him, and he made them part of his group. Here we go. Then sin increased, right, among them greatly. This is what they were doing until a man married his own sister, just like Andre was showing over in Leviticus, or daughter, or mother, or other, or daughter of his father's sister, his first cousin, so that there was no more distinction of relationship, and they could no longer discern what was seen and what was not. That's what we had right now over here in America. But always were wicked, and the earth was defiled with sin, and they angered God and the judge. See that? Who had created them. Okay, so I'll go back up here. Verse 8, it said, when they were drunk, right? When they got drunk, hatred and murder increased among them. Now here you go. One man would use violence against another, and Satan would teach him evil in that one man would take the other man's children and defile them before him. So let's go back where I just read. In Micah chapter 2. So it says, chapter 2, verse 1, woe to them that devise iniquity, work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand, right? And they covered fields, and they take them by violence. Same thing they was doing over there. This the Amorites. It says, devise an evil from which ye shall not remove their necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. In that day shall one take up a parable against you, and lamentate with a doleful lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. Ye have changed the portion of my people. How have you removed it from me? Turning away, ye have divided our fields. Therefore thou shalt have none that shall cast a cord by lot in the congregation of the Lord. Prophesy ye not. Say thee to them that prophesy, they shall not prophesy to them. They shall not take shame. O thou that art named of the house of Jacob, is the spirit of the Lord straightened? Or these his doings? Do not my words do good to him that walketh uprightly? Even of late, my people is risen up as an enemy. Ye pull off the robe with the garment from them that pass by securely, as men avert from war. The women of my people have yet cast out from their pleasant houses, from their children have you taken away my glory forever. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, and it shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction. Okay, it says, if a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and strong drink, he shall even be the prophet of this people, right? I will surely assemble, O Jacob, all of thee, and I will surely gather the remnant of Israel, and I will put them together as the sheep of Basra, as a flock in the midst of their fold, and they shall make great noise by reason of the multitude of men. The breaker is come up before them. They have broken up and have passed through the gates and are gone out by it, and their king shall pass before them, and the Lord on the head of them, right? So what stuck out to me on that was verse 12. He says, I will surely assemble Jacob, all of thee, and I will surely gather the remnant of Israel, and I will put them together as the sheep of Basra, right? So you know what Basra is, right? Basra is a capital city in Edom. So we see right here, this came to pass because that's where you get Edom from. When Esau moved into the land and they intermingled with Judah, that's how you get Edom. That's why the Most High says that he's going to judge Esau and Edom. because at one point, right before Anti-Epiphanies came, it was Edomites had started intermingling in parts of Judah. I just want to shine a light on that. I saw it when I was reading. Anybody else got any comments on that?
Yeah, break it down again.
Yeah, so you know Idumah. You heard that word Idumah before?
Yeah, Idumea, Idumah. Yeah. So
Right. That's
that.
go
No, go
ahead.
ahead. Sorry. No, sorry.
Now
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
Now
that's
go ahead.
that's when they that's when Esau or Edom mixed
Right.
with Judah, and
Right. And that's why he called it Idumah. Right. That's why he called it Idumah. Because they done mingled with the Edomites. It's partially Edomites in there. And this the part I was saying that people don't see what happened in Obadiah, because when they went to Babylon, uh Esau came and was telling them, the Chaldeans, burn it down. They was egging them on because they wanted the land. And then when you notice, when Ezra and them came back and Nehemiah and them came back, it was Edomites. They're the ones that sent a letter to Darius and told them these people back over here trying to build this temple back and build their land back up. And that's when he sent the letter. Darius sent a letter and cut Zerubbabel off for 2 years. That's what Daniel 9:25 is saying, 26, and the Messiah shall be cut off. Darius sent that letter back and cut and told them to stop building the temple. Zerubbabel to stop building it because he got to go and search the archives to see where they got the authority to do that, to see if Cyrus had actually gave them authority. And then they found it. They found the scroll, and then he sent the letter, and they started back after 2 years. That's the prophecy in Daniel 9:26 when the Messiah was cut off. So every when you go back and read that, you see at every juncture, Esau was trying to get the land. They wanted the land, and then finally in Obadiah, when Anti-Epiphanies came, they got the land, and they was in the land from 143 BC all the way to 70 AD. And then, like I was just showing you, every time everybody come in land, they start seeing the Most High gonna judge. It's his land. He gonna judge them and run them out. He ran the Amorites out and the Canaanites. Then he ran Israel out. Then Esau stole the land. He ran them out in 70 AD. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you like I said, you got to factor that in. You're not gonna be able to rightly divide what really went down if you don't understand that part. There was no Israelites there. He says none remain when Anti-Epiphanies ran them out. None remain. So that means that remnant went to the west coast of Africa. So all that history with what's his name? Pontius Pilate, all that. Pontius Pilate and Assyrian and all that was the Israelites on the west coast of Africa. And then the telling detail is, look where these so-called Israelites went to in 70 AD. They went to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to ask yourself, we on where they found us at when the slave ships came? They found us in Europe, or they found us on the west coast of Africa?
West Coast of Africa.
So they killed that. That killed all that New Testament with Paul's journey. Paul's journey is a thorn in everybody's side now. Because he's a dead giveaway. We know where they was at. And them ain't Israelites.
So at that time, the land was just Idumea and Chittim.
It was Idumea, right. It was
in the Greek
Edomites,
Edom, and the Romans dealing with it during that after 143.
Right. So let's read this right quick. So let me read this right here, because this is gonna enhance what we talking about. So now I'm in Micah. And a lot of people don't even understand Micah, but we think what we just talking about. Now I'm gonna read the first few verses in Malachi chapter 1. It says, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi, right? I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved wherein have thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Says the Lord. Yet I love Jacob, right? Then 3. and I hated Esau, and I laid his mountain and his heritage to waste for the dragons of the wilderness, right? Now look what Esau say. And this is what people you gotta deal with this right here. 4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return. How you gonna return to the land of Israel if you ain't never was there? See that? See that? Say, but we will return and build a desolate place. Ain't but one desolate place. The abomination that make a desert is in Jerusalem. So he says, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. And thus says the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall be called them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever, right? So he says, border of wickedness, verse 5, your eyes shall see, and ye shall say, the Lord will be magnified from the borders of Israel. So it's a whole lot going on right there, and you got to rightly divide it. So they was in Israel when he ran them out in 70 AD, but they told him, he told them, you ran us out there, but we're going to come back. Well, they came back in 1948.
Yo.
You got to deal with that.
And they setting ducks now.
Yeah, they setting ducks. Ain't that something?
Yeah, got them right where they want them.
Right, you got them right where they are. Yeah, they got to be, in order to cleanse the land, you got to judge the perpetrators that shed the blood of the children of Israel. And it was Esau. He done brought them right back there. They sitting ducks.
Lord, the host don't lie, do it?
Oh, no, you don't lie. No.
Goodness gracious.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what they was going to say and what they was going to do, and they did it.
Right.
He got something planned for him. Oh, my goodness.
Right. And that's what I was saying, too, the other day when I brought that out about the eagle. Now you're starting to see who that head is that awakened. You know what I'm saying? It's Esau, but he got the whole world thinking that he don't even exist no more. But he the one running America. Because Columbus came here. Columbus, Isabella sent the 3 ships from Spain, them Edomites. That's where they went. In 70 AD, when Titus and Vespasian ran them out, he gave Herod lineage safe passage to Spain. So they didn't do is they didn't jumble this all up together, talking about you hear brothers, Israelite brothers talking about the Spanish Jews. Them Edomites that's over there that was in Spain. The Sephardic Jews, them Spanish Jews, they from them Edomites. That's where all the drama in the West started, from right there when Isabella sent those 3 ships out with Columbus looking for a new world.
Hey, let me ask you a question about that. So when they got expelled from Spain, was that part of the Spanish Inquisition?
Right. But so let me read this right quick. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See, they for the longest they was able to pass as Israel up until this point, till recently, because he waking up Israelites. But before that, they was able to pass because of this verse right here. I mean, remember, a lot of us, we woke up when we came to the knowledge of Deuteronomy 28. Is when we woke up, because we saw the curses and we see that they apply to us. That's how we woke up. But it's all Esau got curses on him too. But they in Ezekiel 35. You got Ezekiel 35? And they just almost identical. And that's how they was able to pass up until recently, till he started waking us up. They was able to pass as the Jews, because they would say, oh yeah, these curses in Deuteronomy 28 is on them. So I'm in Ezekiel 35, and this is a prophecy against Mount Seir. And the Lord of hosts says, verse 1, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus says the Lord God, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. See that? Israel desolate, he desolate. See, they work the same thing. 4, I will lay thy cities to waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. So here you go. Because thou hast a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in thy force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had came to an end, right? 6, therefore, as I live, says the Lord, I will prepare thee under blood. See that same thing with the Israelites. We prepared under blood. In Deuteronomy 28, I will prepare thee under blood. Blood shall pursue thee. That's why they're looking for a land. These are Europeans running them out of one country after another one. The swords, y'all got the swords following them. So it says, 6, therefore, as I live, says the Lord, I will pursue thee under blood, and blood shall pursue thee, since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make thee most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains and with his slain men in thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in thy rivers, and thou shalt fall that are slain with the sword, and I will make thee perpetual desolation, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord, because I have said, these two nations, this southern and northern kingdom, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it wherein the Lord was there. See that? So that's almost exact same identity. Remember, they twins, so it's almost exact same judgment on both of them, and they was able to pass up until like 10, 15 years ago when we really started waking up. And everybody was like, what happened with Hitler? They say, well, that's Deuteronomy 28 because of they getting persecuted, but that's Ezekiel 35. Yeah, I got a judgment on them too. And they similar. But now it's out in the open. Now, like I said, when you go and look at, we know for a fact that we was on the west coast of Africa. So where we got to make a decision. Is we on the west coast of Africa, or are we over there where Paul went? It's one or the other. And once you make the conclusion that we on the west coast of Africa, you got to do something with Paul. You got to do something with the New Testament. Yeah. Ain't that something?
Yeah. So Esau been spending a long time perfecting how to stay hidden.
Right. They ain't just start. He being dragged out in the open now with the Most High waking up his people. But for the longest, he was smooth. Yeah.
Sound like a fugitive and a vagabond.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he teamed up with Japhet
to hide himself.
Right, exactly. Ain't that so? And that also brings to light too. Like I said, the eagle. The eagle that we keep going to in Second Ezra. For the longest, we ain't know about no eagle. They gave us that dragon. Yeah.
That's deep. So he hid himself. He hid himself hiding himself because they some people that's known to change their name. Like they don't want to be known as a so-called Jew name. They came to America and immediately gave themselves Gentile names. What I mean? Instead of what was like Rothstein, they'll change that name to Harry or something.
Right.
They quick to stay hidden while they're trying to moving and shaking behind the scenes.
Right, exactly. Right. And like I said, they the ones that amassed all the money. They can't hide that. They the ones that got all the money because from all the debauchery and just from posing as Israelites, they got all the money. You know what I'm saying? And then they know the ways of the Most High. So that's how they got all the money.
Another question on that then. And so is it good to say that the Talmudic teachings that they teach are from the Amorites?
Yeah. That's the Talmud. The Talmud is debauchery.
Yeah, the sacrificing and all the wickedness that they could do with other. So that's Amorite teaching.
Right, it's Amorite teaching. It come out of Babylon. That's what, like I was saying before, when you go back and Esau and Jacob were twins. Well, one of them show up at the other gonna show up too. When they was in Persia, didn't the Edomites show up with Haman?
Right.
And then when they got exposed, they fled to Greece. That's who Zephno and Alexandria and Philip, they Edomites. They running Greece. That's why the Greeks came to the Middle East. Because Esau the head over. And they came to the East. They came to the Middle East. And behind the land. Yeah, they'd hid all that. Yeah. Caesar was an Edomite. So and then when you understand that, he had that relationship with Cleopatra. That's what Caesarion is. The Edomite. And so that's the son of God. They made Julius Caesar a god while he was alive, and Cleopatra was a goddess while she was alive. So when Cleopatra had Caesarion, he's the son of God. That's the purpose. Like I said, they done flipped off the understanding and the meaning of the words and put them and got us perceiving it in a whole nother way. But so it's indirectly it's a truth and it ain't a truth. But he was the son of God. But Julius Caesar was made a God. Right. And like I said, at 12 years old, when Octavian came there, he had to kill him because first of all he had to kill Caesarion because he was Julius Caesar's son. He was the next in charge, the prince. So he had to kill him, Cleopatra, and Mark Antony. And he killed Cleopatra and Mark Antony, but she sent Caesarion off to a monastery. That's who JC is. He came back 18 years later, back to Judea. That's who Caesarion is. Then Octavian killed him. He wasn't resurrected. Octavian killed him. That's what started Christian religion. They made a god out of him after they killed him. So
that right there shut the doors on Sunday morning.
Oh yeah, they shut the doors on Sunday morning, but they got it so they got it. Go ahead.
I say if they would listen.
Oh yeah, they ain't gonna hear that. They can't hear that. But it's only for those who have ears to hear and those who have eyes to see. That's all it was for. It ain't for nobody else.
Right, and that's why Jerusalem was so important because of the strategic layout of where it was at.
Right,
Jerusalem was like a Silk Road between the northern part of Africa, supposedly, and to get into the European countries. Jerusalem is a strategic point, so that's why it was important for all of them to have to be there to have the God be JC, because that's the main road between to get into the Babylonian area, Iraq or Turkey, and the Gentiles, or the Isles up there, and Northern Africa. So Israel is an important plot of land.
Right, and they keep mentioning it. They keep mentioning it over and over again, but it be going over our head. They call it the Levant. That's the actual name of it. When you start dealing with it from the way you were talking about it, it's the Levant. But they'll say that on the slide, but it ain't for everybody. Don't grasp that. Yeah.
What's Levant?
The Levant, that's that area right there. That was the main, just like they always talk about Megiddo.
Yeah.
So that was a main strategic for that anybody that want to had aspirations to rule that whole region. They had to control the Levant.
From there, right.
From Egypt up to Syria, Mike.
Right. That's where the Amorites is at. Ain't that something? That whole area of hill country. Yeah, it's 7 hills in Jerusalem. Mount I can't think of Mount where the angels came in. Mount Hermon. That's one of them. Mm-hmm. Mount Carmel. There's 7 mountains around there. Yeah.
Wow. And this is getting deep, man.
Oh yeah. It's the same. Yeah, it's one class at a time, man. Build that foundation. Like I say, when you get to a certain point, can't nobody just say no anything. You get away with it. It ain't happening. It's not that you say you know everything. It's just that it ain't happening, man. Most I didn't equip he equipping his people with knowledge, the right knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anybody got anything else before we go? Yeah, I was gonna say, so everybody can start getting their ducks in a row. We're gonna deal with that. Next time we have one of those class is gonna be about America. Is America is Israel in America?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what we'll talk about next time. So
I got one more thing on Micah chapter 2 before we close out.
Okay.
The very first verse. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is the power of their hand. Go back to the passages that I read. King Ahab,
Right.
King Manasseh. Both is the epitome of this verse.
Right.
Because it said that Ahab sold himself to doing it.
Right.
And then Manasseh did every type of abominable act.
Right.
Before the Lord of hosts.
Right.
So when you read that verse, that's the first thing that jumped out to me was Ahab and Manasseh.
Exactly right. Yeah. Ahab. That's what I was saying about people don't understand that Nebuchadnezzar. The reason Nebuchadnezzar and all them came, the Lord of hosts brought Nebuchadnezzar was because of Manasseh.
Right.
So just like he attributed all that wickedness in Genesis 6 to Azazel.
Mm-hmm.
He attributed everything that happened to Israel to Manasseh.
Exactly. And the king of Assyria for Ahab.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another thing too. You have to take into consideration too. For the person that's full of zeal. Manasseh prayed, man, understanding that the Most High didn't put all that sin on him. He prayed a prayer. So a good thing to do is read that prayer of Manasseh, because he's super sharp. That's the elephant prayer, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk about how wise Solomon was. Manasseh wasn't too far behind.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All good.
Yeah. Let me hit this right quick. Yeah. So I'm gonna see everybody tomorrow at 7:00. Yeah.
Shalom, brothers.
All right.
Shalom.
Yeah.
Wrong, brother.
Yeah. What's up, Bruce?